Hey everyone, Azure Wolf here. Welcome to part 2 of my Zuko video. I'm going to finish the colors on this one. Please remember to like and subscribe if you dig this video. Also, leave a comment letting me know what you think about this piece. Critiques are welcome. Alright, let's get at it. Okay, so to do the colors, I open up a new layer and I get a darker version of my skin color. Then I start working in the shadows. Basically, wherever I think there's going to be shadows, like underneath the hairs, there's going to be shadows. Underneath the chin. Under the brows, under the eyelids. Gives the Adam's apple more definitions. Under the clothes. Under the nose, under the lips. A little bit more under the chin. On the shadows a little bit more. There's going to be one there just to tell you that there's going to be like an upper lip on the other side of the nose. A lot of what's going to determine where your shadows are have to do with where the light source is. After this, I start working on my highlight colors, which is just basically a lighter version of the skin color. And I put the highlights where the light is hitting Zuko's face the strongest. So right there, it's on the side of his neck. Sometimes I have to rework things to get things precisely, make things a little bit more tighter. Put in some more highlights here and there, put some on the nose to get the nose more definition. Then I do another layer for the collar, which I just take a darker color of the color for the collar. It's basically the same concept of the skin. And keeping in mind where my light source is, that's where I put my colors. Then I get a lighter version of the collar color, and that's going to be for my highlight. It's looking pretty good. It's looking great so far. And I make another layer for the black parts of the robe he's wearing. And again, same concept. I make a lighter color where the light is hitting. Then I work in my highlights. Then I do the red part of the shirt. Again, same concept. Picking the highlights for that one was a little bit difficult. I didn't know if I should go with like a really bright yellow, but I think I found a color that works well. It's looking pretty good. Do the insides of the shirt. Make sure to get the little striped parts. Then I go in and work on the scarf. The scarf was also a little bit difficult to color. Just didn't know exactly which colors I should use, but I think I found one that works pretty well. It's just like a darker pink. I am going with this more cell shaded style, which I really dig. And I put in a little bit, some highlights on the scar, experiment a little bit. Then go for an even darker color for the darker part of the scar, which is around the eye. Experiment a little bit, but again, working it in even more. Try to keep in mind the hair is also there, so that will also cause some shadows. Then just putting a little bit of highlight. That's looking really good so far. Go back and fix some more shadows. Now we start with the hair. And again, keeping in mind where our light source is at. That's what's going to cause your highlights. The highlights is just like where the light is hitting the subject the hardest. So I'm just going around the edges of his hair, putting in a lighter grayish color for his highlights, for his hair. Let's just work all around it, zooming in to get a more precise stroke. Just make things as pretty as possible, tight as possible. Then the bangs, 'cause that counts as well. Highlights are just a really great way of making your subject pop a little bit more. It just gives your drawing a little more interest. It makes it look more interesting, and it's just a really cool way to give your drawing a little bit more pizzazz, I guess. So I'm just working in the shadows, and I'm putting in a little bit more highlight to give the hair volume. So it's not along the edges, it also does like strands of hair, so where you would get highlights as well. Just put it in there to make it look a little more interesting. Just give the hair more volume. Do a little bit of more highlight. Then I go in with a darker color on another layer, and this is where so the highlights are going to be where the light hits your subject the hardest, and the shadows is like it's like where the light is farthest away, if that makes any sense. What causes, like, it's what gives your subject a sense of like structure. Then I go in and try to experiment a little bit more with highlights. I didn't really dig that. I got that. So now that I'm done with the actual piece with Zuko, I'm going to go in and start working on the background a little bit. This is where I really try to experiment. Then I go in and just put in my classic stroke around the character. That's also going to make him pop out a bit more. It just looks really cool. Again, going around the hair. I chose a gray because I feel a neutral color for the background would, again, just like really make the character pop and just like draw your eyes towards them. You don't want to make your backgrounds too distracting or to where they completely engulf the center of your piece. You know, in this case, Zuko. We don't want to make the background so interesting that people don't completely forget Zuko. Just that basic little circle there in the back makes it works really well. I'm still not completely satisfied, so I want to add a little bit more. I start experimenting with different colors for the circle, see what works well, maybe a different color for the background. I try to keep that neutralness to it. I'm really digging that kind of pale yellow there. So I go in and fix the strokes around the other parts of his hair. Zooming in to get a really good stroke and all that. Stroke. There we go again. There we go again. So once I'm done that, I decided I'm going to try to, this is where I'm experimenting a little bit to get the background a little bit more interest. I added in a little bit of smoke there. I experiment with the circle to see if maybe there's some way I can add a little bit more to it. And I like this brush a little bit. It kind of gives it a little bit like a snowy kind of feel to it. But Now I thought about maybe putting in like Zuko's name in it. Like have just read Zuko somewhere. Now I'm just trying to find a good font. I I'm really bad at picking fonts. Like, I don't know, I can never find one that I really like. But then I start to experiment a little bit with like rotating it, putting it upside down on the side of the page, right there smack dab in the middle. Experiment with kerning. And I try to make the way Zuko pop a little bit more. I'm actually really digging how this piece came out. I might, I don't know, print it up and hang it on my wall. I really dig how this piece came out. Oh yeah, I try to experiment some more to maybe find a way to make it stick out a little bit, make it a little bit more interesting. But again, we don't want to detract from the subject too much. So there I am, experimenting a little bit more. Just different brushes, seeing what you can come up with. Different colors. I really like that bold stroke right there. Then I tried to change the colors of the word, the letters, but it wasn't communicating with me well. Try to work with the orientation a little bit more, the size, colors. But I think ultimately what I just decided to do was people can tell who that is. I don't need to have his name on there. Experiment a little bit more with fire. Alright, so there you have it, everyone. Our handsome boy Zuko, all done. Please let me know what you think in the comments. Please like and subscribe if you dig this video. Also, check me out on Twitch. I go by Black Cat Creations on there. Till next time, laters.